I Am That Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 26 Personality and Obstacle. The personality is an only obstacle. Self-identification with the body may be good for an infant, but true growing up depends on getting the body out of the way. Questioner. As I see it, the world is a school of yoga and life itself is yoga practice. Everybody strives for perfection, and what is yoga but striving? There is nothing contemptible about the so-called common people and their common lives. They strive as hard and suffer as much as the yogi, only they're not conscious of their true purpose. Maharaj, in what way are your common people yogis? Questioner. Their ultimate goal is the same. What the yogi secures by renunciation, tyaga, the common man realizes through experience, bhoga. The way of bhoga is unconscious and therefore repetitive and protracted, while the way of yoga is deliberate and intense and therefore can be more rapid. Maharaj. Maybe the periods of yoga and bhoga alternate. First bhogi, then yogi. Then again bhogi, then again yogi. Questioner. What is the purpose? Maharaj. Weak desires can be removed by introspection and meditation, but strong, deep-rooted ones must be fulfilled, and their fruits, sweet or bitter, tasted. Questioner. Why then should we pay tribute to yogis and speak slightingly of bhogis? All are yogis in a way. Maharaj. On the human scale of values, deliberate effort is considered praiseworthy. In reality, both the yogi and the bhogi follow their own nature according to circumstances and opportunities. The yogi's life is governed by a single desire to find the truth. The bhogi serves many masters, but the bhogi becomes a yogi, and the yogi may get a rounding up in a bout of bhoga. The final result is the same. Questioner. Buddha is reported to have said that it is tremendously important to have heard that there is enlightenment, a complete reversal and transformation in consciousness. The good news is compared to a spark in a shipload of cotton. Slowly but relentlessly, the whole of it will burn to ashes. Similarly, the good news of enlightenment will, sooner or later, bring about a transformation. Maharaj. Yes, first hearing, sravana, then remembering, smarana, pondering, manana, and so on. We are on familiar ground. The man who heard the news becomes a yogi, while the rest continue in their bhoga. Questioner. But you agree that living a life, just living the humdrum life of the world, being born to die and dying to be born, advances man by its sheer volume, just like the river finds its way to the sea by the sheer mass of the water it gathers. Maharaj. Before the world was, consciousness was. In consciousness, it comes into being. In consciousness, it lasts, and into pure consciousness, it dissolves. At the root of everything is the feeling I am. The state of mind that is a will is secondary. For to be, I do not need the will needs me. Questioner. The desire to live is a tremendous thing, Maharaj. Still, greater is the freedom from the urge to live. Questioner. The freedom of the stone? Maharaj. Yes, the freedom of the stone and much more besides. Freedom unlimited and conscious. Questioner. Is not personality required for gathering experience? Maharaj. As you are now, the personality is only an obstacle. Self-identification with the body may be good for an infant, but true growing up depends on getting the body out of the way. Normally, one should outgrow body-based desires early in life. Even the bhogi, who does not refuse enjoyments, need not hanker after the ones he has tasted. Habit, the desire for repetition, frustrates both the yogi and the bhogi. Questioner. Why do you continue dismissing the person Vyakti as of no importance? Personality is the primary fact of our existence. It occupies the entire stage. Maharaj. As long as you do not see that it is mere habit, built on memory, prompted by desire, you will think yourself to be a person, living, feeling, thinking, active, passive, pleased, or pained. Question yourself. Ask yourself, is it so? Who am I? What is behind and beyond all this? Soon you will see your mistake. And it is in the very nature of a mistake to cease to be when seen. Questioner. The yoga of living, of life itself, we may call the natural yoga, Nisarga Yoga. It reminds me of the primal yoga, Adhi Yoga, mentioned in the Rig Veda, which was described as the marrying of life with mind. Maharaj. A life lived thoughtfully, in full awareness, is by itself Nisarga Yoga. Questioner. What does the marriage of life and mind mean? Maharaj. Living in spontaneous awareness, consciousness of effortless living, being fully interested in one's life. All this is implied. Questioner. Sharada Devi, wife of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, used to scold his disciples for too much effort. She compared them to mangoes on the tree, which are being plucked before they are ripe. Why hurry? She used to ask. Wait until you are fully ripe, mellow and sweet. Maharaj. How right she was. There are so many who take the dawn for the noon, a momentary experience for full realization, and destroy even the little they gain by excess of pride. Humility and silence are essential for the Sattaka, spiritual aspirant, however advanced. Only a fully ripened jnani can allow himself complete spontaneity. Questioner. It seems there are schools of yoga where the student, after illumination, is obliged to keep silent for 7 or 12 or 15 or even 25 years. Even Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi imposed on himself 20 years of silence before he began to teach. Maharaj, yes, the inner fruit must ripen. Until then, the disciple, the living in awareness, must go on. Gradually, the practice becomes more and more subtle until it becomes altogether formless. Questioner. Krishnamurti too speaks of living in awareness. Maharaj, he always aims directly at the ultimate. Yes, ultimately, all yogas end in your Ati Yoga, the marriage of consciousness, the bride to life, the bridegroom, consciousness and being, Satchit, meet in bliss, Ananda. For bliss to arise, there must be meeting, contact, the assertion of unity in duality. Questioner. Buddha too has said that for the attainment of nirvana, one must go to living beings. Consciousness needs life to grow. Maharaj, the world itself is contact, the totality of all contacts actualized in consciousness. The spirit touches matter and consciousness results. Such consciousness, when tainted with memory and expectation, becomes bondage. Pure experience does not bind. Experience caught in between desire and fear is impure and creates karma. Questioner. Can there be happiness in unity? Does not all happiness necessarily imply contact, hence duality? Maharaj, there is nothing wrong with duality as long as it does not create conflict. Multiplicity and variety without strife are joy. In pure consciousness there is light. For warmth, contact is needed. Above the unity of being is the union of love. Love is the meaning and purpose of duality. Questioner. I am an adopted child. I do not know my own father. My mother died when I was born. My foster father, to please my foster mother, who was childless, adopted me almost by accident. He is a simple man, a truck owner and driver. My mother keeps the house. I am 24 years old now. For the last 2.5 years I have been traveling, restless, seeking. I want to live a good life, a holy life. What am I to do? Maharaj, go home. Take charge of your father's business and look after your parents in their old age. Marry the girl who is waiting for you. Be loyal, be simple, and be humble. Hide your virtue. Live silently. The 5 senses and the 3 qualities, gunas, are your 8 steps in yoga. And I am is the great reminder, Maha Mantra. You can learn from them all you need to know. Be attentive. Inquire ceaselessly. That is all. Questioner. If just living one's life liberates, why are not all liberated? Questioner. Maharaj. All are being liberated. It is not what you live, but how you live that matters. The idea of enlightenment is the utmost importance. Just to know that there is such a possibility changes one's entire outlook. It acts like a burning match in a heap of sawdust. All the great teachers did nothing else. A spark of truth can burn up a mountain of lies. The opposite is also true. The sun of truth remains hidden behind the cloud of self-identification with the body. Let me repeat that. The sun of truth remains hidden behind the cloud of self-identification with the body. Questioner. This spreading the good news of enlightenment seems very important, Maharaj. The very hearing of it is a promise of enlightenment. The very meeting with a guru is the assurance of liberation. Perfection is life-giving and creative. Questioner. Does a realized man ever think, I am realized? Is he not astonished when people make much of him? Does he not take himself to be an ordinary human being? Maharaj. Neither ordinary nor extraordinary, just being aware and affectionate intensely. He looks at himself without indulging in self-identifications He looks at himself without indulging in self-definitions and self-identifications. He does not know himself as anything apart from the world. He is the world. He is completely rid of himself, like a man who is very rich but continually gives away his riches. He is not rich, nor he has nothing. He is not poor, for he gives abundantly. He is just propertyless. Similarly, the realized man is egoless. He has lost the capacity to identify himself with anything. He is without location, placeless, beyond space and time, beyond the world. He is beyond words and thoughts. Questioner. Well, it is deep mystery to me. I am a simple man. Maharaj. It is you who are deep, complex, mysterious, hard to understand. I am simplicity itself compared to you. I am what is without any distinction whatsoever into inner and outer, mine and yours, good and bad. What the world is, I am. What I am, the world is. Questioner. How does it happen that each man creates his own world? Maharaj. When a number of people are asleep, each dreams his own dream. It is only on awakening that the question of many different dreams arises and dissolves when they are all seen as dreams, as something imagined. Questioner. Even dreams have a foundation? Maharaj. In memory, even then what is remembered is but another dream. The memory of the false cannot but give rise to the false. There is nothing wrong with memory as such. What is false is its content. Remembering facts, forgetting opinions. Questioner. What is a fact? Maharaj. What is perceived in pure awareness, unaffected by desire and fear, is fact. I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 27. The beginningless begins forever. The beginningless begins forever. In the same way, I give eternally because I have nothing. To be nothing, to have nothing, to keep nothing for oneself is the greatest gift, the highest generosity. Questioner. The other day I was asking you about the two ways of growth, renunciation and enjoyment, yoga and bhoga. The difference is not so great as it looks. The yogi renounces to enjoy, the bhogi enjoys to renounce. The yogi renounces first. The bhogi enjoys first. Maharaj. So what? Leave the yogi to his yoga and the bhogi to his bhoga. Questioner. The way of bhoga seems to me the better one. The yogi is like a green mango, separated from the tree prematurely and kept to ripen in a basket of straw, airless and overheated. It does get ripe, but the true flavor and fragrance are lost. The mango left on the tree grows to full size, color, and sweetness, a joy in every way. Yet somehow, yoga gets all the praises and bhoga all the curses. As I see it, bhoga is the better of the two. Maharaj. What makes you say so? Questioner. I watched the yogis and their enormous efforts. Even when they realize there's something bitter or astringent about it, they seem to spend much of their time in trances, and when they speak, they merely voice their scriptures. And at their best, such jnanis are like flowers, perfect, but just little flowers, shedding their fragrance within a short radius. There are some others who are like forests, rich, varied, immense, full of surprises, a world in themselves. There must be a reason for this difference. Maharaj. Well, you said it. According to you, one got stunted in his yoga while the other flourished in bhoga. Questioner. Is it not so? The yogi is afraid of life and seeks peace, while the bhogi is adventurous, full of spirit, forward-going. The yogi is bound by an ideal, while the bhogi is always ready to explore. Maharaj. It is a matter of wanting much or being satisfied with little. The yogi is ambitious while the bhogi is merely adventurous. Your bhogi seems to be richer and more interesting, but it is not so in reality. The yogi is narrow as the sharp edge of the knife. He has to be, to cut deep and smoothly, to penetrate unerringly the many layers of the false. The bhogi worships at many altars. The yogi serves none but his own true self. There is no purpose in opposing the yogi to the bhogi. The way of outgoing pravriti necessarily precedes the way of returning nirvriti. To sit in judgment and allot marks is ridiculous. Everything contributes to the ultimate perfection. Some say there are three aspects of reality: truth, wisdom, and bliss. He who seeks truth becomes a yogi. He who seeks wisdom becomes a jnani. He who seeks happiness becomes the man of action. Questioner. We are told of the bliss of non-duality. Maharaj. Such bliss is more in the nature of a great peace. Pleasure and pain are the fruits of actions, righteous and unrighteous. Questioner. What makes a difference? Maharaj. The difference is between giving and grasping. Whatever the way of approach, in the end, all becomes one. Questioner. If there is no difference in the goal, why discriminate between various approaches? Maharaj. Let each act according to his nature. The ultimate purpose will be served in any case. All your discriminations and classifications are quite all right, but they do not exist in my case. As the description of a dream may be detailed and accurate, though without having any foundation, so does your pattern fit nothing but your own assumptions. You begin with an idea, and you end with the same idea under different garb. Questioner: how do you see things? Maharaj: one and all are the same to me. The same consciousness, Chit, appears as being, Sat, and as bliss, Ananda. Chit in movement is Ananda. Chit motionless is being. Questioner: still, you are making a distinction between motion and motionless. Maharaj: non-distinction speaks in silence. Words carry distinctions. The unmanifested, nirguna, has no name. All names refer to the manifested, saguna. It is useless to struggle with words to express what is beyond words. Consciousness, Chit, is spirit, Purusha. Consciousness is matter, Prakriti. Imperfect spirit is matter. Perfect matter is spirit. In the beginning, as in the end, all is one. All division is in the mind, Chitta. There is none in reality, Chit. Movement and rest are states of mind and cannot be without their opposites. By itself, nothing moves, nothing rests. It is a grievous mistake to attribute absolute existence to mental constructs. Nothing exists by itself. Questioner: you seem to identify rest with the supreme state. Maharaj: there is rest as a state of mind, Chittaram, and there is rest as a state of being, Atmaram. The former comes and goes, while true rest is the very heart of action. Unfortunately, language is a mental tool and works only in opposites. Questioner: as a witness, are you working or at rest? Maharaj: witnessing is an experience and rest is freedom from experience. Questioner: can't they coexist as the tumult of the waves and the quiet of the deep coexist in the ocean? Maharaj: beyond the mind, there is no such thing as experience. Experience is a dual state. You cannot talk of reality as an experience. Once this is understood, you will no longer look for being and becoming as separate and opposite. In reality, they are one and inseparable, like roots and branches of the same tree. Both can exist only in the light of consciousness, which again arises in the wake of the sense I am. This is the primary fact. If you miss it, you miss all. Questioner: is the sense of being a product of experience only? The great saying Mahavakya Tat Sat, is it a mere mode of mentation? Maharaj: whatever is spoken is speech only. Whatever is thought only. The real meaning is unexplainable, although experienceable. The Mahavakya is true, but your ideas are false. For all ideas, kalpana, are false. Questioner: is the conviction I am that false? Maharaj: of course. Conviction is a mental state. and in that there is no I am. With the sense I am emerging, that is obscured, just as with the sun rising, the stars are wiped out. But as the sun comes with light, so with the sense of self comes bliss, Ananda. The cause of bliss is sought in the not I, and thus the bondage begins. Questioner: in your daily life, are you always conscious of your real state? Maharaj: neither conscious nor unconscious. I do not need convictions. I live on courage. Courage is my essence, which is love of life. I am free of memories and anticipations, unconcerned with what I am and what I'm not. I'm not addicted to self-descriptions. Soham and Brahmasmi. Brahmasmi. I am He, I am the Supreme, are of no use to me. I have the courage to be as nothing and to see the world as it is, nothing. It sounds simple, just try it. Questioner: but what gives you courage? Maharaj: how perverted are your views? Need courage be given? Your question implies that anxiety is the normal state and courage is abnormal. It is the other way around. Anxiety and hope are born of imagination. I am free of both. I am simple being and I need nothing to rest on. Questioner: unless you know yourself, of what use is your being to you? To be happy with what you are, you must know what you are. Maharaj: being shines as knowing. Knowing is warm in love. It is all one. You imagine separation and trouble yourself with questions. Don't concern yourself overmuch with formulations. Pure being cannot be described. Questioner: unless a thing is knowable and enjoyable, it is no use to me. It must become a part of my experience, first of all. Maharaj: you are dragging down reality to the level of experience. How can reality depend on experience, when it is the very ground, Adhar, of experience? Reality is in the very fact of experience, not in its nature. Experience is, after all, a state of mind, while being is definitely not a state of mind. Questioner: again, I am confused. Is being separate from knowing? Maharaj: the separation is an appearance. Just as the dream is not apart from the dreamer, so is knowing not apart from being. The dream is the dreamer. The knowledge is the knower. The distinction is merely verbal. Questioner: I can see now that Sat and Chit are one. But what about bliss, Ananda? Being and consciousness are always present together, but bliss flashes only occasionally. Maharaj: the undisturbed state of being is bliss. The disturbed state is what appears as the world. In non-duality, there is bliss. In duality, experience. What comes and goes is experience with its duality of pain and pleasure. Bliss is not to be known. One is always bliss, but never blissful. Bliss is not an attribute. Questioner. I have another question to ask. Some yogis attain their goal, but it is of no use to others. They do not know or are not able to share. Those who can share what they have initiate others. What is the difference? Maharaj, there is no difference. Your approach is wrong. There are no others to help. A rich man, when he hands over his entire fortune to his family, he has not a coin left to give a beggar. So is the wise man, Jnani, stripped of all his powers and possessions. Nothing, literally nothing, can be said about him. He cannot help anybody, for he is everybody. He is the poor and also his poverty, the thief and also his thievery. How can he be said to help when he is not a part? He who thinks of himself as separate from the world, let him help the world. Questioner. Still, there is duality, there is sorrow, there is need of help, but by denouncing it as mere dream, nothing is achieved. Maharaj. The only thing that can help is to wake up from the dream. Questioner. An awakener is needed. Maharaj. Who again is in the dream. The awakener signifies the beginning of the end. There are no eternal dreams. Questioner. Even when it is beginningless? Maharaj. Everything begins with you. What else is beginningless? Questioner. I began at birth. Maharaj. That is what you are told. Is it so? Did you see yourself beginning? Questioner. I began just now. All else is memory. Maharaj. Quite right. The beginningless begins forever. In the same way, I give eternally because I have nothing. To be nothing, to have nothing, to keep nothing for oneself is the greatest gift, the highest generosity. Questioner. Is there no self-concern left? Maharaj. Of course, I am self-concerned, but the self is all. In practice, it takes the shape of goodwill, unfailing and universal. You may call it love, all-pervading, all-redeeming. Such love is supremely active without the sense of doing.